Okay, hello everyone. Just adjusting my camera a little bit. Sorry if I make the sound crackle. Okay. Ooh, okay, so today I am going to be trying the salt trick. I think I mentioned it Friday. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it Friday. I wanted to try the salt trick again. And I have a little lid from Jam, just with some salt. So I'm going to try the salt trick. And I have some interesting things in front of me that I thought I'd just share. Obviously, it's going to be the card again that I'm using, but I talk about these first. Okay, so these are Phoenix Classic Watercolour Set, and this is the box they came in. There's a price and everything. And then I also got these ones as well. So I didn't need any new watercolours, but the shop that I go to isn't an art shop, it's an everything shop, but it has a fantastic art section. And normally when I go in there, they only tend to do kids watercolours, you know, like beginners, you know which ones I'm talking about. And my favourites that I use, which is in this palette that I made for myself, which is Winsor & Newton, the Cotton, that is how you say it, isn't it? Kits, that kind of thing. And every so often they have like a niche watercolour that I've never heard of, and when they do I tend to buy them, which is what happened this time. And with all the Winsor & Newton kits I've bought, I don't think I've ever had a colour chart. I think I have a Derwent watercolour set, and it has a colour chart, but they're printed. You don't get to paint them. Anyway, sorry, talking a lot there. So I was very giddy to fill out a colour chart, and I was going to do it for a video because I know a lot of people kind of sometimes find that relaxing, but I was so impatient. So these are those colours. So those are those colours, and these are these colours. So I really love this colour, the this one, quinacridone gold. I think that's correct. I love that one. So this set I bought is an earth tone. On the back it's described as being a kit good for painting people. So they're meant to be skin tones. I don't paint a lot of people. Actually, I hardly ever painted people. When I was a teenager, I did painting anime characters and manga characters that I enjoyed, or making up my own. It's been a long time since I've done that. I can't even remember the last time I did that. So I thought these would be just good for earthy tones for landscapes, and also they're very food coloured as well. I can do like a lot of bakery type paintings. Okay, and the last, before we actually get into the painting, if this is boring, I will probably post or write down like a skip time. But these are the paintbrushes that I want to try today. I bought these along with these because they were on the shelf and I didn't know where they came from, so they interested me because they're a kids kit. As you can see, they're kind of directed as like kids craft paintings, but they're actually quite nice bristle wise. Like, they don't feel like other cheap, like the wire brushes, although I can't talk about the wire brushes because I've been using it to splatter snowfall and ink, so I find a use for them, so I can't call them useless because that's what I'm using it for. But I do have a habit sometimes. If you look at this paintbrush, it's bendy, and I am guilty, and I'll admit it, of putting a paintbrush in my water glass and leaving it and forgetting about it, which obviously if it sits at the bottom like this, then obviously it keeps the shape. So I'm guilty of that. I don't do it on purpose, I just forget. So anyway, I want to use brush. Right, so now I have probably been talking for about 5 minutes without any actual, what's happening here, painting. I don't know why I was fighting to put that back. I'm about to use them, but let's actually get to the fun part. Okay, I'm set up now. We're actually at the fun part this time. Okay, so the other day I painted these. And then I also painted this one, which isn't watercolour paper. I was thinking to do the salt trick, I might do another berry painting, and I know that might be boring, but I think the paintings after the first painting will be different. Just because I want to, I don't know, paint something that I know how to paint pretty quickly and easily, so I can just focus on messing with the salt part, because I find these easy to paint out, I guess. So just draw a couple of rather sketchy circles. Now I am going to skip the masking fluid again. I think last time I mentioned that I probably should have used it, but the reason I'm not going to is because I'm too excited to just sort of go ahead and try salt. And I'm hoping if it fails, no, I'm not hoping that it fails, obviously, but if it fails, I'm hoping if you're watching and you know how the salt trick works, you can give me advice, because I've tried this a couple of times and I've never gotten it to work. And I will be trying the brushes that I bought just to see. Okay. Oh, so, yeah, sorry, because these are technically upside down compared to the chart. This is sap green, okay. So I don't know much about the Phoenix watercolours. I went online to do some research, and I read a lot of comments that were very vaguely like, oh, they do remind them of Winsor Newton watercolours, but some, there were also a few comments on sometimes the pigments aren't as saturated compared as well. But this is my first time using them, so I can't comment. This will be my first time using them, apart from doing the swatching. I actually really like this brush. It's very smooth to use. So I don't know salt wise. I don't know how it works. Does it matter if it's really wet? Do they have to be partially dry? I gather they don't have to be completely dry, otherwise there'd be no reaction. Now I don't think this has an indigo, so I might just mix some sort of dark blue. To my sap green to get a darker colour. Okay. Though there are, let me have a look. So I'm holding it upside down. It's you can see the yellows. The greens are up here. So that green that I've used, that's quite a dark green in itself. So this one. Oh, I like that. That's really nice. That's kind of sort of similar to the colour I make when I add indigo with my Winsor Newtons. Anyway. Ooh. I really like that. That's a nice colour. Now, I'm going to say it's a hooker's green of some type. sap green emerald. Hooker's Green Dark. I'm proud of myself there. When I first started watercolour, I had no real knowledge of the colours. Sometimes if I watched someone else paint and they mentioned the colours and I wanted to follow along, I didn't care what colours they were using. I just kind of used a colour in my collection that was similar. Okay, so I'm going to try that. Add in a bit more water. Let's actually try the salt now. Oh. I don't know, did I add too much? Not enough? I don't know. Put the salt back in there. Have a drink of coffee. Okay. Never mind. Turns out I'd finished my coffee and I didn't remember that I finished my coffee. Has that anybody ever experienced that? I do it a lot. Okay, so it looks like there's a reaction. Did I need more? That's part I struggle with. Like, did I need more pigment? We'll see. Actually, you know what? Let's just let this dry. While this is drying, we'll do another one. And so then, yeah. Okay, so now we're ready to do the next one while that one dries. I really like this brush. I actually really like how it works. So I have mixed the Hooker's Green Dark and Pifolo Blue. Is that how you pronounce that? That one. The writing's very small. So just draw a nice sort of thin line. Add a bit of water. I'm going to I might. So what I'm going to do is when I do my background, I'm going to add different colours. So I'm going to add a Hooker's Green just as it is and add that in, just like that. Add more of the blue, the Pifolo Blue. I hope I'm saying that right. Great. And then add more Hooker's Green to that one to get this colour again. Okay. Hooker's Green a little bit again, just as it is. Pulling it up. Oops. Okay. Now, let's try using the salt trick on this as well. Okay. Okay. Right. I don't know, I'm adding too much. I don't even know if it's doing anything. I mean, I can see that it's doing anything, that it's doing something, but other times that I've tried to do this, I've seen it do something, and then when it's dried, it doesn't look as dramatic as the other paintings I've seen where people have used it. Okay, so what colour is this? This one. Wait. Burnt umber. That's a bit of umber still mixed in with a bit of sap green, I think. Once this is dry, I probably plan to add a tree here maybe, or something. Okay, we'll let that dry. show you an up close of it. How's this one doing? Well, this one's still not dry either, so I'll probably have to meet you back when they're actually dry. Okay, so they have dried. There's my camera. Yep. Okay, so they have dried, and they have done something. My hands are a bit blue at the moment because I was rubbing off the salt, and I think one section was slightly still dry. So look at the state of my hands. So here we go. Here is this one, and it's quite subtle. I like it, but there's still a little bit of salt on it. Hang on. I like this bit here. It's done it. Oh, sorry. It's done a little bloom. I like that. Okay. Oh, I just flew up my hand. And then this has got a really interesting effect, and there's still some left on it. This one is really interesting. I love how that looks. That's so cool. So it turns out the salt trick does work for me. Maybe it's just a case of more pigment. I don't know. Maybe I did less pigment in the past. I don't know, but I'm just happy that it's worked. Okay, so now from my new paint brushes, I'm going to grab some Hooker's Green Dark, add it to the sap green that I have on my palette. I know you can't see, and I'm sorry about that. It's kind of difficult to. That is any problem if I want to make videos. With a big watercolour palette, it's hard to fit it all on. All I can do is kind of tell you what I'm doing. And I will admit, this set doesn't have an indigo from what I can tell. It has a lot of blues, but it doesn't have. And although the Hooker's Green Dark works really well to add to a dark green, so it's just adding. It's not dark enough. Okay, it's sort of. Oh, am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to try and do this freehand. This could be dangerous. Okay, so I just did all that shape. Never mind, and I ended up okay. Right, so basically, I wanted to get some dark leaves, but I don't want to ruin the salt trick, obviously. So I'm just going to maybe focus on just putting it in the middle of the berries, and quickly just doing little. I think there's some still tiny bits of salt on this. Just do it like this. Flick it, flick it, flick it. Oh, hello, little fly. Are you? Oh no, you're a little moth. Hi, Carl. Hi, moth. Are you a house moth? Sorry. He's attracted to my ring light. I didn't even know he was in here. Okay. I'm going to leave it very simple because obviously I finally got a salt trick to sort of do something. I don't want to go covering it up with another layer of watercolour, so we're going to leave that like that. So I think I might be okay to add my red, and in the Phoenix watercolours, the red that I'm using is called Scarlet Lake. This one. Ooh, that's a nice colour. Oops, I did touch the green a little bit, but that's okay. Look, that wasn't intentional, but I might leave that highlight there. Now for my next winter, I think my next video is probably going to be another winter painting that's a full painting in my watercolour journal, I think, and I might use these watercolours and give them a proper big painting. I really like that colour. I do like these watercolours, and I really like the brushes, actually. They're working out really well. So, let that dry. Can't add any snow on it anyway. Now obviously I can use my ink, but I can also use the Phoenix watercolour because they have a white in this set. So I will decide whether I want to use the watercolour or the ink. I might use the watercolour, give it a test. Right, I'm going to put that to one side. Look at my poor hands. I'm blue. Okay, I'm going to take this watercolour. I'm just going to put this to the side. Right, here's the one I'm interested in. Now, originally I was going to put a tree here, but I like this bloom, the thing that the salt did. So do I put the tree this side? If I do it this side, it doesn't have to be a huge tree, I guess. Let's first make up a colour. So I'm going to get some Hooker's sap green and a lot of Hooker's green. And I haven't tried. Maybe I could add Viridian Hue. This one. And like I said, I am sorry that you keep seeing me pick up my colour chart. Like I said, I don't know all of these off by heart compared. I might add more Hooker's green. I know you can't see the colour I'm making. Kind of want it to match the background a little bit, so I might add the blue that I used to match the painting's tone. That's do I have paper around here that I can test my colour on? Oh, I didn't think about this. I will use this that I used the other day, but you can see it already has tons of swatches on it. It's just might add some indigo, not a lot, just a little bit, because I still want it to match the theme of the painting. A little bit. Okay. A little bit more. Okay, let's try that. Let's see. Oh, that's it has a slightly bit of that blue in. Oops. Oh, that's too much. Okay, let's try. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that. Okay. Let's. Okay. I do it. So it's more like only half of the tree rather than the full tree. Let's see what I can do. Like this. Oh, it needs to be a bit bigger. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to play around with just making the leaves a bit more pronounced, I guess, until I'm happy with what I've got. Does that look like a tree? problem is I'm looking at it and all I can kind of think of it is this way, and it looks like some sort of weird fire. But if I use ink or something at the end, maybe I can give the branches snow, maybe. Add a bit more indigo and Hooker's dark green. Just to give it a bit more dark, give it darker areas. Trying to be careful because I still like this bloom, but I've left this bit here. Okay. No. For some reason, I know it's a tree, but it looks strange. I don't know why. I think also I'm a little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say timid, but maybe that's the word. Apprehensive about mixing all the colours because they're new watercolours. I mean, I know they're watercolours, but they're different. So, you know, I'm Winsor Newton. Normally I know exactly in my head which colours I want straight away. And for this painting, I've kind of stuck to ones I know best, which is the greens. I haven't really tried to add a brown into this or anything. That's why I think I might, for my next winter painting for tomorrow, I probably will use these watercolours but do a big painting or illustration of either a landscape or something Christmassy or wintry. Okay, so I have mixed sap green, Hooker's green dark again, but I mixed it with some of the leftover indigo that I did for the tree. Just thought I might add some trees here. Okay, right. Right, I think for this one I'm going to use ink, and then for this one I might use, although it is still wet, so I might wait for it to dry. And by wait, obviously I mean hairdryer. Right, so I've got some white. Oh, although I did accidentally just mix some lamp black with it because they're next to each other. It's going to be interesting. Oh, hello. Oh, you're not a moth. You're a little gnat. It's attracted to my ring light. Goodbye. Oh, it's very cute. Okay, anyway. Some white. Might be very subtle. I might have to add some ink anyway as well. But in between I did forget to change my water, so my water's slightly green. So okay, let me try a different brush. My usual brush, just to see. Oh, okay. Interesting. That's a little, dab it a little bit. Oh dear. Oh, stuff is falling everywhere. Okay, so if I add this one. So these brushes give a smaller snow splatter, and that one gives a bigger one. Right, noted. So might go ahead and use the ink on that afterwards. Right, I'll be right back. Okay, there is green paint everywhere. There's green paint on my desk. I will have to clean this desk, and again, I cleaned it today, and I am also very blue. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and use my wire brush. There are some noises. I don't think you'll be able to hear them, but there are some noises going on. Okay, so how am I going to do this? Okay. Oh, I was going to add a fence at the back, but I didn't. Oh well, never mind. Not every painting needs a fence. I like this ink. It's very forgiving. You as long as it's still wet, you can dab it so it's, if it's not how you want it. I'm going to assume maybe you can do that with all ink. It's nice and gentle. Let's go ahead and see if I can add some snow to the branches. A little bit less. Oh, okay. Now, because this is a wire brush, I use it for flicking, but it might not be obviously small enough to get snow on the branches. No, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I need it to be thick so it's opaque, but that also means that it covers a lot of the branches up, and I don't want it to completely cover them up. What's up here? Like that. Sorry, I know I'm not talking much in this bit. I'm just sort of going around and I think I had a bit of some snow about. Snow here. Ooh. Okay. I'm just going to move that to the side real quick and then do this one. I know I used a bit of the white paint, but I have to admit, when I do winter paintings, I'm a sucker for adding tons and tons of snow. So okay. So tomorrow I think I'd like to be doing a painting in my journal that is still wintry themed. I think the painting I'll do will probably still be perfectly valid to do a bigger card, but it's in a journal rather than on separate paper. Okay, so those are my two paintings. Normally I do more, but I've just done two today. So Unfortunately, obviously this is a similar painting to the other videos one, which is a shame. And then there's this one, which is pretty much the main. What do you think to it? I kind of like it. I have to admit, at first I was a little iffy on how it's going to turn out colour wise, but I really like how it looks, and I do like those watercolours, and I really like the brushes that I bought. I really like them. Although I know I added a bit of indigo from my Winsor & Newton to this painting, but hey. So anyway, so thank you all so much for watching. I'm sorry this was a little bit more indecisive than my other videos because I knew watercolours. But anyway, so I will be doing another video tomorrow, so bye.